for joining, giving a beautiful association. All glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devi Dasi from Chicago, Illinois.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining, giving a beautiful association. All glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, all glories to your services, Mataji too.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, Srila Prabhupada. Mrs. Priti Vilasni Devidasi from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for your warm welcoming, Mataji, and thank you, Anjana Gopika Mataji, for the very beautiful recitation.
Hare Krishna, Priti Vyasni Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you for joining, giving a beautiful association. All glories to your services, Mataji. Happy to hear that you're doing better health-wise. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji. Tender pranams to you and to all the Vaishnavas here. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Sumi from Chennai, India.
Hare Krishna, Swami Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji. And pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, I welcome you all for this mid-morning session, Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. I would like to start by reading a quote by Srila Prabhupada ji. A little bit of pure thing is much better than a huge volumes of impure, adequate things. Letter to Brahmananda, August 27, 1969. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Chinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Antya, verse 2.203 to verse 248. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Chinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji. Thank you for giving us your valuable time and sweet association this morning. Very happy to have you on the call and waiting eagerly to hear from you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. I now hand over the call to you. Please take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji. Thank you so much for this warm welcome. Thank you, Her Grace Priti Vilasni Mataji and Her Grace Kirtidasundari Mataji for giving me this opportunity. Totally not qualified, but still give me this opportunity for my own purification. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. My humble obeisances at the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas assembled here today. Please bless me that whatever I speak today will be totally in accord with Srila Prabhupada's words, Srila Guru Maharaj's words, and no words will rise from my mental concoction. This blessing is very important to me. We'll start with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanaatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri YutapadaKamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. तप्त कांचना गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः पादाय कृष्ण भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओं तत्सत् जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद द्वैता चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा so we are in a very beautiful pastime of the Supreme Lord, where the Supreme Lord has taken sannyasa, and in Shantipur he decides to go to Nilachal. When his devotees say the journey might be a little difficult, then Advaitacharya tells the Supreme Lord, all obstacles are your servant, so where is the difficulty for you? Please go ahead. You will do what you want. So saying this, Advaitacharya bids farewell to Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu with few devotees starts his journey. Anybody remembers who are the devotees? I had also forgotten. So
Govinda Mukunda Nityanand Prabhu and
two more.
yeah, two more I will remember. I forgot. Nam
Nityananda Prabhu.
no, the Brahmanand something. Yeah.
You're right. Brahmananda and
Jagdish Pandit.
Nityananda. Jagdananda also. Yes.
Pandit. Yeah. And
I think Govinda did.
go yeah.
Gadadhar Pandit,
Gadadhar Pandit, yeah.
Nityananda Prabhu.
Yeah.
We have Mukunda, then Jagdananda and Brahmananda.
Brahmananda.
So with these five intimate devotees, Mahaprabhu starts his journey. He comes to the village of Chatrabhoga, and there he talks to Ramachandra Khan, who agrees to help Mahaprabhu travel. And Mahaprabhu, with his night-long Sankirtan, he mercifully blesses all the residents of Chitrabhoga, and then he starts his journey. From there, the boat comes, and along with Sudarshana Chakra, they all come to Odisha. And in Odisha, Mahaprabhu reaches Prayag Ghat, and then he goes to Ganga Ghat. He takes his bath and begs alms, and his devotees, they cook with the alms which Mahaprabhu's brought, and they all have prasadam. The Supreme Lord, the Lord of all opulences, is doing this pastime. And then that beautiful pastime of the sinful toll collector happens. The last 2 days, we really relished this beautiful, beautiful pastime where Mahaprabhu shows such nice feelings. When the toll collector asks, who is Mahaprabhu? Who are accompanying him? He says, I am alone. I am alone. This whole world is mine. And then the toll collector lets him go, but he catches hold of the devotees and he says, you have to pay toll. And the devotees know nothing other than their own Supreme Lord. And Then Mahaprabhu goes to the other side, and he, like a small child, he sits, he puts his face between his two knees, and he starts crying in separation from the two devotees. How beautiful is this, the Supreme Lord crying for his devotees so nicely. And then looking at that, the toll collector becomes overwhelmed, and he asks these devotees, who is that person? And then they say, you must have heard of Krishna Chaitanya. He is that, and we are all his servants. And they start shedding tears of ecstasy. And then looking at that, the toll collector is, of course, he is changed now. He goes, apologizes, and Mahaprabhu casts his merciful glance at this toll collector. And then we saw the beautiful dance of Nityananda Prabhu. So after that, we'll continue today's verses. Today we have a lot of verses to cover. So please bear with me. I'm sure I'll make a lot of mistakes. And please take the liberty of correcting those mistakes at the end. So we'll start with today's verse. So now Mahaprabhu is finished. Nityananda Prabhu, he revealed his various symptoms of ecstasy. He danced, he rolled in ground, he was covered with dust, he was swimming, he did all these pastimes, and now he is waiting at one place. And Jagdananda has gone out to beg alms. Jagdananda gave the danda. So today we are dealing with this beautiful pastime. We all know this pastime, but we have some very, very deep purports of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Please bless me that I make some sense with these purports, because they are really difficult for me. And we'll understand this pastime in detail. So this danda of Mahaprabhu was being held by Jagdananda Pandit, and he gave it to Nityananda Prabhu, and he proceeded to beg alms. So we'll see what is happening here. So we'll start with that today. ठाकुरेरा दंड श्री जगदानंद वाहे दंड थुई नित्यानंद स्वरूपे रे कहे ठाकुरेरा दंडे माना दियो सावधाने भिक्षा करी आमिहा आसीबा ए क्षणे. So Sri Jagdananda generally carried the Lord's danda. He handed that danda to Nityananda Swarupa and said, please take care of the Lord's danda. I will return in a few minutes after begging alms. So the danda is a sannyasi's ornament. So that's what is being given to our Nityananda Swarupa now. We'll see what our Avadhuta Nityananda does with it. आथे व्यथे नित्यानंदा दंडधरी करे वसीले न से स्थाने विह्वल अंतरे. With an agitated heart, Nityananda grabbed the danda and sat down there. दंडाहते हरि हासे नित्यानंद राया दंडेरा सहिते कथा कहे न लीलाया. Holding the danda in his hand, Lord Nityananda laughed. As his pastime, he then spoke to the danda. Now Nityananda Raya is speaking to danda. We'll see what he speaks. ओहे दंडा आमियन रे वही ये हृदय से तो मारे वही बेके एता युक्त ना है. O Danda, it is not proper that he whom I carry within my heart should carry you. So Nityananda Ram is telling the Danda, that Supreme Lord, I carry him in my heart. And Nityananda Prabhu is none other than the Supreme Lord too. And he's saying it is not proper that that Supreme Lord is carrying you. So we'll see Prabhupada Saraswati's purport for this. From the time Sri Gaurasundara accepted sannyasa, he was keeping his danda with him. But sometimes Jagdananda Prabhu would carry Mahaprabhu's danda while going out to beg alms. Accepting the responsibility of carefully protecting Mahaprabhu's danda, Sri Nityananda Prabhu took the danda from Jagdananda and said to the danda, we always carry Sri Krishna, the Lord of the 14 worlds, within our hearts. We are his eternal servants. You are committing an offense by making that Lord your carrier. So, Nityananda Prabhu is telling the danda, by making the Lord carry you, you're making an offense. So here, actually, the Supreme Lord does not hesitate to become a servant to his pure devotees. So we know the pastime of Raghunath Das Goswami, who was such a great renunciant. And Raghunath Das Goswami didn't even build a bhajan kutir for himself. So he used to just sit on the banks of Radhakund and do his bhajana. And one day, while Sanatan Goswami was walking, he saw near Mansi Ganga, while he was walking, that there were two tigers and they were drinking water there. And not very far from them, Raghunath Das Goswami was just sitting on the land and doing his bhajana. And Sanatan Goswami was very anxious to see this. And at the same time, what made him more perplexed was Krishna himself was standing there observing the situation. And then one more pastime was where in hot sun Raghunath Das Goswami was sitting and doing his bhajan. And Srimati Radharani happened to walk there and she sees that hot scorching sun is falling on her dear Raghunath Dasa. And she goes and holds her sari over him, the end of her sari, and protects him from the sun, while Mother Radharani herself perspires. So after this, Raghunath Das Goswami was asked to build a bhajan kutir and he did so. Of course, this is not what Prabhupada Saraswati is telling here. Prabhupada Saraswati is addressing devotees like, not devotees, people like me who make the Supreme Lord our order carrier. Says it is not right to take things, make Lord do things for us. So he says, so it is right that we servants of the Supreme Lord carry whatever symbols he has accepted as rules or whatever he has renounced in this incarnation as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whatever he has decided to do, we are supposed to do, carry those symbols, and you should not make the Supreme Lord your carrier. So, and Prabhupada Saraswati also talks about the Prakrita Sahajiyas who engage Krishna in supplying their sense gratification. So, Prabhupada Saraswati is warning us here. The first teaching he gives us, don't make Krishna your order carrier. And that is not the mentality of devotees. Eta bali balarama parama prachanda Phelilene danda bhangi karitina khanda. After speaking in this way, the most powerful Balaram broke the danda into 3 pieces. So our danda, the danda bhanga pastime has started. Our Nityananda Rama broke the danda into 3 pieces. This is a very profound purport. I will try my best here. So please, Matajis, forgive me for all the mistakes I make. So, Ekadandi, so-called Paramahamsas, who follow the philosophy of impersonalism, always neglect the Tridandis. So, generally, our Mahaprabhu was carrying Ekadanda, following the Mayavad Sampradaya. So, Prabhupada Saraswati is saying the so-called Paramahamsas who follow the Mayavad philosophy, they carry Ekadanda and they neglect Tridandis. Everything Prabhupada Saraswati explains over the following purports. So we will understand everything, every word which Prabhupada Saraswati is making is profound here. So since Sri Gaurasundara exhibited the pastime of pretending to accept the Ekadanda sannyasa, Sri Nityananda Rama broke that danda into 3 pieces and converted it to a 3 danda. And he then entrusted the service of carrying that danda to the servants of the Lord. He gives it to Jagdananda. That is why Srila Rupa Goswami has quoted in his Upadeshamrita. What? Vacho vegam, manasa, krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udharopasta vegam, etan veganyo vishaheta dhiraha, sarvam apima prithivim sa shishyat. So here Prabhupada Saraswati is quoting this verse. Why? Because what is in this verse? The translation is a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak. The 6 urges are being talked about by Rupa Goswami here. Urge to speak, the mind's urges, then our anger, then the urges of tongue, belly and genitals. So these 6 urges, one who controls, he is qualified to make disciples all over the world. And that is the confirmation and qualification for accepting a Tridanda sannyasa. Okay, so and all the Tridandi sannyasis are expected to follow in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami. So this is the statement, second statement made by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur goes to address a Mayavad. Mayavad Acharya. He talks about one Apyaya Dikshita who strongly protests against the acceptance of Tridanda Sannyasa. And he comments on his works. So this Apyaya Dikshita has written a book by name Parimala, and then he also has written books like Nyaya Rakshamani and Shivarka Rakshamani. But Nityananda Prabhu, by transforming Gaurasundara's Ekadanda to Tridanda, he is showing irrelevance to all these works where Ekadanda Sannyasa is being propagated. So, and then Prabhupada Saraswati says, Sri Chaitanya Deva, Sri Baladeva Prabhu transformed the Ekadanda of the sannyasi dressed Sri Chaitanya Deva into a Tridanda to reveal that the impersonalist's acceptance of Ekadanda, which is the symbol of Mayavad, and also the current and former practices of accepting sannyasa in the Shuddha Dvaita, that is purified dualism or Madhva's disciplic succession, is not approved by Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So, Ekadanda is sannyasa is accepted by Mayavad and also by Madhvas. But the reason behind accepting is totally different. Mayavas accept Ekadanda sannyasa with the concept of Aham Brahmasmi. I myself is that supreme Brahman. I am Narayana. So that's why there's only one Advaita, and that is why they have one Danda. Madhvas, they propagate dualism. There is the Supreme Lord and then there are the Jivas. But they accept Ekadanda to say that there is only one Vishnu and we are all his servitors. But here, Prabhupada Saraswati is saying both these acceptance of Ekadanda by both these sects is not approved by Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. And that concept is fully approved in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam propagates acceptance of Tridanda. Why? Because without becoming a Tridandi, this is why Prabhupada Saraswati talked about Vachovega. Without becoming a Tridandi, no one can control himself. In the principle of Tridanda, then Prabhupada Saraswati goes to another concept. So this Tridanda actually has 4 sticks. This is based on a conversation between Srila Prabhupada and Kirtanananda Maharaj. So Prabhupada, our Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada talks that there are 4 sticks in this Tridanda, and one stick signifies the Jiva, and then the other 3 sticks signify body, mind, and words. So this is what is being told by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also, that in the Karmakanda section of the Vedas, Indradanda, Vajradanda, and Brahmadanda are combined with the Jiva Danda. And Srila Rupa Goswami gives meaning to these dandas as controlling one's body, mind, and speech. When Tridanda is combined with the Jiva Danda, then according to the external conception of Tridanda, Ekadanda becomes the principle of Paramahamsa Dharma. But since in the principle of Ekadanda, the transcendental state beyond the 3 modes of nature attributes faults in the process described in the Pancharatras, Ekadanda in the form of Tridanda has been accepted in Pancharatras. So Pancharatras also accept Tridandas and not Ekadanda. So this system is directly and indirectly followed in the Brahma Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, and Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So that's what indirectly by the Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. Though they hold Ekadanda, so Tridanda, they actually mean that they are following Tridanda. Therefore, the teachings of Sri Gaura Nityananda cannot be different from Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. From this time on, persons under the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Deva have been known as Gaudiya Tridanda Swamis. And then finally, Prabhupada Saraswati addresses one very nice point. He says, he compares between two kinds of personalities. One who have accepted the Tridandis, who have accepted the path of regulative principles of sannyasa. And the example he gives here is Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad. Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad is the brother of Venkata Bhatta and the uncle of Gopala Bhatta Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis. So Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad accepted Tridanda Sannyasa, whereas the Rupanugas, the 6 Goswamis, they accepted sannyasa on the path of Paramahamsa. But there is no mutual contradiction here, because both of them, they are in the same path and it means the same. And then Prabhupada Saraswati talks about one very important thing. He says, the recent pure devotional endeavors by the followers of Sri Rupa, that is our current acharyas, they are propagating the path of regulative principles, accepting Tridanda Sannyasa. Why? Because they want to rectify the behavior of fallen deviant so-called Paramahamsas. So in the name of Paramahamsas, they are not actually Paramahamsas, but they just call themselves Paramahamsas, and they are behaving in a very fallen and deviant way. So to rectify all that, the current acharyas are propagating sannyasa in the path of regulative principles, and also to counterattack those who are attacking those who traverse the path of anuraga or loving attachment. So to counterattack those people who are ridiculing these people who have taken the path of anuraga, those who are ridiculing the actual Paramahamsas, to counteract both, currently the path of regulative principles of sannyasa is being advised. So this is what, and there is absolutely no difference between the Paramahamsa path and the regulative path. This is what Prabhupada Saraswati is clarifying in this deep purport. We'll move on. Text 209. ईश्वरेरा इच्छा मात्रा ईश्वर से जाने के न भंगी लेना दंडा जानी बखम के माने. Only the Supreme Lord knows the will of the Supreme Lord. How will I know why he broke the danda? This is our Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur saying. Nityananda Jnata Gaura Chandrera Antara Nityanandera Ojane Shri Gaura Sundara. Nityananda knows the mind of Gaura Chandra, and Shri Gaura Sundara knows the mind of Nityananda. So actually this whole pastime, it's so deep that there are several layers to understand. In my understanding, I have not even scratched the surface of any understanding. But Nityananda Prabhu and Gaura Sundara, they can understand, only they can understand each other. And what they speak between themselves, everything is very esoteric and very full of mystery. So one pastime which came to my mind is where Mother Sachi sees Nitai Gauranga as Krishna Balaram. So one day, I'm telling this good pastime from Gauranga book. It is there in Caitanya Bhagavata also. So one day, Mother Sachi came to Gauranga and she said, Gaura, I saw a dream in which I was offering bhoga to Krishna Balram, our deities Krishna Balram, and you and Nityananda were little boys then. And Nityananda comes and tells Krishna that, oh, this bhoga should actually go to Gauranga. He is the avatar in this Kali Yuga. What is the meaning of this? And Mahaprabhu tells Mother Sachi, yeah, even I don't understand the meaning of this. Mother Sachi, can you make lunch? I'll go call Nityananda Ram and we can have lunch together. So Mother Sachi, on hearing Nityananda is also coming for lunch and her son wants food from her, she became ecstatic and started cooking so many varieties. And meanwhile, our Nityananda Ram, our Avadhuta, was on the banks of Ganges playing with children. And our Mahaprabhu goes and he calls Nitai. He says, "Oh, Nitai, come. Mother Sachi wants us to have lunch." And so Nitai comes, and our Gauranga says, "Remember, please, no funny things." What Guru Maharaj says is, "No funny business." And Nitai replies, "Me? I don't do any funny business. You're the one who does funny business." And Guru Maharaj comments on this, saying like this: the two brothers were talking, and what they meant is a mystery. And then when they come home, Mother Sachi is so ecstatic. She had cooked so many dishes. She offers all them, and she offers all this to uh, Nitai. She puts three plates in her confusion, and then Nitai and Goranga they sit and they start eating. And as Mother Sachi is running from kitchen, coming and serving, she suddenly sees that the two brothers get transformed to Krishna Balaram, and then she is so confused. And seeing this, she faints. And Mahaprabhu was like, "What happened? What happened?" And then again, the whole day, Mother Sachi, she doesn't talk to anybody. So this is how deep their pastimes are, the pastimes of the two brothers together, and nobody but they can understand each other. So we'll move on. युगे युगे दुई भाई श्री रामा लक्ष्मणा दोहारा अंतर दोने जाने अनुक्षणा. In every yuga, they appear as two brothers, such as Sri Rama and Lakshmana. They always know each other's mind. एक वस्तु दुई भागा भक्ति भुजा ईते गौरचंद्र जानी सबे नित्यानंद हाईते. The one Lord has become two to teach devotional service. One can know Gaurachandra only through Nityananda. So here Prabhupada Saraswati talks about Swayam Rupa and Swayam Prakasha. So Krishna is Swayam Rupa, and Gaurasundara is none other than that Swayam Rupa Krishna. And his first expansion is Swayam Prakasha, that is Nityananda Rama or Balaram. So that's what Prabhupada Saraswati says here. And he is also the topmost devotee. Nityananda Rama, Swayam Prakasha is the topmost devotee. By following only the path of regulative principles, the worship of Gaura Sundara gets hindered. And also by transgressing Sri Nityananda, the service of Sri Gaura Sundara gets hindered. Sri Nityananda assists in Sri Gaura Sundara's preaching of ecstatic love of God in 10 different forms. And only Sri Nityananda is able to reveal to the world the mystery of Sri Chaitanya's acceptance of Ekadanda, and in the position of being without Danda, his acceptance of Tridanda. So only Nityananda Ram can explain this pastime. And Prabhupada Saraswati again says, the Srimad Bhagavatam has prescribed for the devotees of Vishnu the process of accepting Tridanda. And only the Tridandis are actually able to attain the stage of Paramahamsa. And this sentence is so nice. Whereas Ekadandis, preaching the mundane concept of impersonalism, cannot even understand their own position. So the Ekadandis who are preaching impersonalism, they don't even know their original position as what? Jivera Swarupa Hoye, Krishnera Nityadas. They don't even accept that. Then how can they become Paramahamsas? So they cannot. So we have to accept Tridandas and then understand Krishna, become Paramahamsa. Sri Nityananda Prabhu alone is able to reveal many of the favorable items of spiritual consideration. So it is through mercy of this Adi Guru only we can understand many things about Gaurasundara. We'll move on. Balarama vina anya chaitanyera danda bhangi bare pare hena keache prachanda. Who other than Balarama is powerful enough to break Lord Chaitanya's danda? So that Balaram who is the Lord's first expansion, that Balaram who is the Sandhini potency, the potency of creation, that Balaram from whom all the incarnations arise, that Balaram is powerful enough to break Lord Chaitanya's danda. And the next verse also, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says, Sakala bhuja he chale Shri Gaura Sundare ye jana ye marma se ye jana sukhitare. Shri Gaura Sundara taught everyone by this pretext. Anyone who understands this truth is easily delivered. So this is the merciful benediction which Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is giving us. So we have to understand the truth behind this pastime. Dandabhangi Nityananda Achena Vasi Yaksha Neke Jagadananda Meliya Asiya. After breaking the danda, Nityananda sat there. Shortly thereafter, Jagadananda returned. भग्नदंड देखी महा हैला विस्मिता अंतरे जगदानंदा हैला चिंतिता. He was greatly astonished on seeing the broken danda and he felt apprehensive at heart. So now Jagdananda Pandit, he saw this broken danda and he felt very, very apprehensive. He didn't know what was going on. How will he reveal this to our Mahaprabhu? Varta jignasena danda bhangi leka ke Nityananda bale danda dhari leka ye. He asked, who broke the danda? Nityananda replied, he who held it broke the danda. So here also, Srila Prabhupada, we learned that Gaurasundara is teaching everyone by this pretext. And similarly, Nityananda Rama is saying, who held it, broke it. That is what Nityananda Rama is saying. That is, Gaurasundara broke it on his own will. Apanara danda prabhu bhangiya apane tanra danda bhangite ki pare anya jane. The Lord broke his own danda. Who else is capable of breaking it? So this is Nityananda Ram's answer. Okay. Shuni vipra arana kharila pratyut uttara bhanga danda lai matra chalila satvara. When that Brahmana heard this reply, he did not say anything. He quickly took the broken danda and left. So now Nityananda Prabhu is giving the Tridanda back to Jagdananda Pandit. So now Jagdananda Pandit is taking this Tridanda and he is going back to Mahaprabhu. Vasiya chena yatha Shri Gaura Sundara Bhanga danda pheli dila Prabhura gochara. He went to the place where Shri Gaura Sundara was sitting and placed the broken danda before the Lord. प्रभु बले कह दंडा भंगीला के माने पथे की बा खांदोला खरीला खारोसाने. The Lord said, tell me how this danda was broken. Did you have a fight with someone on the way? Did you break it by fighting it with someone? How did my danda get broken? The Lord was curious and he was angry. कहिला जगदानंद पंडित सकला भंगिले ने दंडा नित्यानंद सुविहवला. Jagdananda narrated the entire incident to the Lord and said, the overwhelmed Nityananda broke the danda. He's revealed the truth now. Nityananda prati prabhu jignase apani kilagi bhangila danda kaha dekhi shoni. The Lord then asked Nityananda, tell me why you broke my danda. Let's see what Nityananda Prabhu's got to reply. Nityananda bale bhangi yachi vamshakhana na parakshamite kara yeshasti pramana. Vamshakhana, he's saying, what did I do? I broke only a piece of bamboo. And you cannot forgive me for this? Then if you don't want to forgive me, punish me appropriately. So this is Nityananda Prabhu's reply. We'll see what Prabhupada Saraswati's got to say here. Prabhupada Saraswati says, the danda is carried by a sannyasi who has not yet attained the platform of Paramahamsa. So once they reach the stage of Paramahamsa, they don't carry dandas anymore. So therefore, everyone can understand that a sannyasi without a danda has attained the final stage of spiritual life. And worldly opulences cannot disturb such a person. Now, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is Brajendra Nandan himself, right? So that's why Nityananda Prabhu wants to say, you are the Supreme Lord. You are Paramahamsa and more than a Paramahamsa. So why are you carrying a danda? So that's one more reason what Nityananda Prabhu is conveying by breaking the danda. But since Paramahamsas do not accept the symbol of renunciation, ordinary people cannot understand their exalted position. But unfortunately, because they don't carry the danda, ordinary people, they think they are not perfect renunciants. That is why foolish people consider the topmost Paramahamsa Vaishnavas to be inferior to even themselves. So to clear all this misconceptions which are there among foolish mundane people, Nityananda Prabhu, to convey the Adi Guru, to convey one more message, he is breaking the danda. So here, yes, again Prabhupada Saraswati says, Sri Nityananda Prabhu broke the bamboo danda of Swayam Rupa Vrajendra Nandan, Sri Chaitanya, so that people would not mistakenly consider who simply carries a danda made of bamboo to be situated just below the topmost Paramahamsa platform. So they should not make that distinction. Again, Prabhupada Saraswati is going back to that purport where he said a Tridandi sannyasi and a Paramahamsa both are on the equal, both are accepted equally. So he's saying we should not consider that just because somebody is carrying a danda, he is lesser than a Paramahamsa, or at the same time, we should not mistake a Paramahamsa too and think he is one among us just because he is not carrying a danda. So to solve both these types of conflicts, Nityananda Prabhu broke the danda. Realizing that people would invite inauspiciousness by committing the offense of considering Lord Chaitanya simply a sannyasi, or considering that he was obligated to accept such simples, and that they would thereby meet with obstacles in understanding that he is the Supreme Lord. So, and the most merciful Nityananda Rama also wants to be merciful on the people by, if we think that just because Mahaprabhu is holding a sannyasa, danda is a sannyasa, again we commit offenses at his lotus feet, and then we can never understand Mahaprabhu. So to prevent that also, he broke it into three. So this pastime of Sri Nityananda was meant to reveal that the principles of Tridanda, entailing control of body, mind and speech, are to be respected by those whose senses are not controlled. So those whose senses are not controlled, like me, should respect the Tridanda. And that Ekadanda is the combined form of Tridanda, and that it is the duty of Paramahamsa to renounce the Danda. The tendency of Tridandis is to neither aspire for anyone's blessings, not to award anyone worldly blessings. So that's why our Guru Maharajas, they give the blessing of Krishne Matirastu. They don't give any worldly blessing, and they don't aspire for anyone's blessings. Those who are bound by mundane conceptions have little interest in pursuing spiritual life. If such people relegate Sri Gaura Sundara to relative roles like Dandena Dandi or a sannyasi just because he is carrying a danda, they will achieve inauspiciousness. So as such, we are bound by mundane conceptions, and people like me, I have no interest in spiritual life. So I should not commit more mistakes by thinking Gaurasundara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is a sannyasi just because he is carrying a danda. One of his opulences of the Supreme Lord is renunciation. Of the six opulences of which he is in full is renunciation. So we can't say he is a sannyasi just because he's carrying a danda. If I think like that, inauspiciousness will come on me and I will never be able to understand Gaurasundara. So this is one more reason why Nityananda Ram broke the danda. प्रभु बले याहे सर्वा देव अधिष्ठाना से तुम्हारा मते की हैला वंश खाना. The Lord said, all the demigods reside in this danda and you are calling it a piece of bamboo? So again, Prabhupada Saraswati says, according to spiritual consideration, one should respect the supremely pure Tridanda, which is a worshipable form of the three guna avatars. But since, the mundane consideration is that the deity form of Vishnu is made of stone. So that leads one to hell. So common man can't even see Archa Vigraha in its true form. He sees Archa Vigraha and thinks this is made of stone. So I am making mistakes at this level. So Nityananda Ram doesn't want me to make mistakes even at the level of Tridanda. And it is actually a worshipable form of the three guna avatars, but he doesn't want us to make mistakes of that by disrespecting the danda. So he broke it. He is delivering all living entities from future offense. के बुझीते पारे गौरा सुंदरेरा लीला मने करे एक मुखे करे ए आरे खेला. Who can understand the pastimes of Sri Gaura Sundara? He thinks one thing and says something else. So, एते के ये बलि बुझी कृष्णेरा हृदया से अबोधा इहा जानिह निश्चया. Therefore, know for certain that anyone who says, I understand Krishna's mind is a fool. So we can never understand Krishna. And if somebody says, I understand Krishna, I understand Krishna's pastimes, here Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying he's a fool. So our topmost living being of this universe, Brahma, the secondary creator of all the 14 planetary systems, he in his prayers to Lord Krishna, the little boy Krishna, in Brahma Vimohan Leela, he says this verse, he says this as one of his prayers. He says, there are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this. Oh my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulences are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body, and words. So that topmost living being is saying, all the opulences of Krishna, all his pastimes, everything is beyond the reach of Brahma's body, mind, and words. Then where are we? So we should not misunderstand this pastime too. मारी बेना है ना यारे आछाए अंतारे ताहारे ओ देखिए ना महाप्रीति करे. He may show great affection even to a person he intends to kill. So, the Lord, the Supreme Lord, shows affection to a person he intends to kill, our Jagai. So, when Mahaprabhu heard that Jagai and Madhai are two most sinful people and they have hurt Nitai, he comes running. And how does he come? With a Sudarshana Chakra, ready to kill. And he was about to kill them. And then what does Nityananda Prabhu say? Nityananda Prabhu wants to save them somehow or other. And he says, oh Mahaprabhu, you know what? This person Jagai, he saved me from this Madhai. Madhai was hitting me and there was blood pouring, but Jagai asked him to stop. And when Mahaprabhu heard this, he embraced Jagai, the supreme lord of all opulences, that supreme lord. He embraced Jagai and said, there cannot be a person more dearer to me than you because you have protected my dear Nityananda. So that is our Mahaprabhu. He shows great affection even to a person he intends to kill. But our Vrindavan Das Thakur is drawing a contrast very soon. Prana sama adhikaye sab bhakta gana tahare o dekhiye na nirapeksha manam. Yet he may neglect devotees whom he considers equal to or greater than his own life. And this is our Krishna and our Gaura Sundara. So whom he considers equal to or even greater than his own life, such devotees he may neglect. So he did that when Akrura came. He just sat on his chariot and went away with his brother, and he didn't care about the Vrajvasis. They were all just left. They were crying, and they didn't know what to do next. The Lord just walked away. And similarly, when our dear Gaurasundara, when he decides to start his South India trip, all the devotees, they beg, we will all come with you. He says, oh, no, no, you people, you just spoil my sannyasa. I don't want anybody with me. And then, of course, he decides to take one servant, Kalakrishna Das, on lots of requests by Nityananda Prabhu. But then they were all crying, they were falling on the ground and crying in separation, and our Mahaprabhu just walked away to start his South India trip. And one more pastime which I found was, which I remembered was when Mahaprabhu decides to start his Vrindavan travels from Jagannath Puri. He asks for some distance, all these devotees, his dear devotees, come with him, and then he asks Gadadhar Pandit to go back. And Gadadhar Pandit says, no, I'm coming with you. And Mahaprabhu says, you have taken kshetra sannyasa, you can't leave Jagannath Puri, and you can't be without worshipping Gopinath, so you have to go, you can't ignore his worship, you have to go. And Gadadhar, these are very beautiful verses. Due to lack of time, I am not going in detail, but Gadadhar Pandit gives beautiful reasons. I'll tell the chapter number. It is Madhya Leela, 16th chapter, from texts 130 to 130 to 147. These are very beautiful verses. So if you have any time and you feel like reading, please read those verses. Then Gadadhar Pandit gives various reasons. He says, you are Neelachal. When I worship you, I'm worshipping Gopinath, all these things. But Mahaprabhu says no. And Gadadhar Pandit, in fact, he loses his consciousness. He falls down. And Mahaprabhu just calls Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and says, take him back to Neelachal. And he walks. But after Gadadhar Pandit regains his consciousness and he's crying, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says something so beautiful. He says, just the way the Supreme Lord broke his vow to keep up the vow of Bhishma Deva, the Supreme Lord is tolerating his separation from you so that he can keep up your vow of Kshetra Sannyasa. So this is how our Supreme Lord is. Even in his neglect, he shows so much of love, so much of concern. And Prabhupada Saraswati gives one more reason here. He says, because to reveal that he is not totally obliged to the devotees, Sri Gaurasundara may sometimes display indifference. Otherwise, envious humanity will condemn him as a flatterer. That's why. So, to benefit foolish people, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pretends to display indifference by exhibiting equal treatment to both devotees and non-devotees. एयिमत अचिन्त्य अगम्य लीलमात्रा तान अनुग्रहे बुझे तान कृपपात्र. Such pastimes are inconceivable and unfathomable. Only one who is favored by the Lord can understand them. So these pastimes are all not understandable by our mundane brains. We need mercy of the Supreme Lord. I actually remembered one a quote by Srila Guru Maharaj. It was, Guru Maharaj said, Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are still going on even after his disappearance. And only those who are very, very fortunate can see them. So we have to be favored by the Supreme Lord, and then we can start understanding his pastimes. We can start understanding even a little bit of the Supreme Lord. So text 31. Danda bhangi lena apani ichha Kari krodha vyanji bare lagi lena Gaurahari. Out of his own sweet will, Gaurahari broke the Tridanda and then expressed anger. So here Dandas is taken. Gaurahari himself broke his danda out of his own sweet will and now he is expressing anger. That's the pastime. प्रभु बले सबे दंड मात्र चील संगा ताहो आजी कृष्णेरा इच्छाते हैल banga. The Lord said, this danda was my only companion. Now today by Krishna's will, that was also broken. So Prabhupada Saraswati says, from mundane point of view, the only asset of a sannyasi is his danda. One who carries a danda maintains himself by begging door to door. And by accepting danda, he also protects himself from the attack of the external world. So that's his only companion and he uses it also for certain reasons. But the omnipotent Lord Gaurasundara displayed humility by declaring that his only asset was a danda to attract ordinary people's affection on the mundane level. So even on mundane level, if I'm hearing this pastime, there should be some attraction. So for that, the Lord is saying this danda was my only companion and now I have lost that also. एते के आमारा संगे करो संग नाई तुम्हारा बा आगे चला की बा आमी आई. Now I do not require anyone's company. Either you go ahead or I will go ahead. Now the Lord says, I don't want anybody now. Either you all go ahead and I will follow you, or I go ahead and you people follow me. We are not going together anymore. So this is again an elaborate purport here. Prabhupada Saraswati quotes various verses to declare the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, our Gaurachandara. Okay, he says the Supreme Lord is one without a second, and Srimad Bhagavatam, he quotes where the Lord is glorified as the Supreme Soul, the primeval Supreme Personality, absolute truth, self-manifested, endless, beginningless, and so on. And then Prabhupada Saraswati comes to these verses where he says, those in this world who understand Lord Krishna as he is, see all things, whether stationary or moving, as manifest forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such enlightened persons recognize no reality apart from the Supreme Lord Krishna. And then he says this again, this beautiful verse which was quoted by Brahmaji in his Brahma Vimohan Leela pastime. He quotes this and he says, my Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, then he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas. So, द्विरुक्ति करीते आज्ञा शक्ति आछे कारा सबे हैला शुनि चिंतित अपारा. Who has the power to refute the Lord's decision? On hearing these words, the devotees all became anxious. Now the Lord is saying, either you all go ahead, I will come behind, or I will go in the front and you all come behind me. I don't want to walk with you people anymore. Hearing this, the devotees became very anxious because who can refute the Lord's decision? We are seeing time and again he is doing what he wants. Nobody wanted him to take sannyas. He went and took sannyas. They didn't want him to come to this Odisha because there were lots of problems. He is still coming. So they know he's going to do what he wants. And they all became very anxious. Mukunda bale na tabe tumi chala aage amara sabara kichu pache kritya ache. Then Mukunda said, okay, then you go ahead, O Supreme Lord, you go ahead. We will come later after finishing our duties. They had no duty other than to serve him. But they said, we will come later. भालबली चली लेना श्री गौर सुंदरा मत्त सिंह प्रायागति लिखिते दुष्करा. Sri Gaura Sundara replied, good. And then he departed. It is difficult to describe how he walked like an intoxicated lion. So this Gaura Simha is Matta, he's intoxicated with Krishna Prema. And it was very difficult to even describe how this beautiful Lord was walking. मुहूर्ते के गेला प्रभु जलेश्वर ग्रामे बरा गेला jaleshwara devasthane. Within a short time, the Lord came to the village of Jaleshwara. There he went straight to the temple of Jaleshwara Mahadeva. So the Supreme Lord, he can walk very fast, right? In Ishopanishad it says he walks, he's swifter than the mind, and he can overcome anybody. He can overcome all the people who are running. So that swiftly he came to the village of Jaleshwara, where Jaleshwar Mahadev's temple was there. The present day Jaleshwar village is situated north of Baleshwara, but the Dandabhanga Nadi is situated near Puri. So here Prabhupada Saraswati is giving some geographical explanations. I didn't understand much because I'm very poor in geography too, along with many other things. So this is, he is giving the actual location where Jaleshwara is. जलेश्वर पूजिते अच्छेन विप्रगणे गंध पुष्प धूप दीप माला विभूषणे. And there this Jaleshwara Mahadev was being worshipped very nicely. The Brahmana priests were engaged in worshipping Jaleshwara Shiva with sandalwood paste, flowers, incense, ghee lamps, garlands and ornaments. बहुविध वाद्य उठी उठी याचे कोलाहला चतुर्दिगे नृत्य गीत परम मंगला. There was tumultuous vibration of various musical instruments, and the four directions were filled with most auspicious dancing and singing. देखी प्रभु क्रोधे पाशरी लेना संतोषे से वाद्य प्रभु मिशाइल प्रेम रसे. Now he's seeing how his devotee is getting worshipped here. Now, on seeing this, the Lord became very happy. He became so pleased. He forgot his anger. And as he listened to these musical instruments, he merged in ecstatic love. निज प्रेम शंकरेरा विभव देखियाना नृत्य करे Gaurachandra Paranandahaya. On seeing the opulence of his dear devotee Shankara, Gaurachandra began to dance in ecstasy. Shivera Gaurava Bujhayena Gaurachandra Eteka Shankara Priya Sarva Bhakta Vrinda. In this way, Gaurachandra revealed the glories of Shiva. That is why Shankara is dear to all the devotees. So we see even in his South India trip, Mahaprabhu visits many temples of Lord Shiva. So he is revealing to everybody how Shankara is dear, is his topmost devotee, and because of this Shankara is dear to all the devotees. And here Prabhupada Saraswati quotes this beautiful verse: Nimnaganam yatha Ganga devanam achyuto yatha Vaishnavanam yatha Shambho Purananam idam tatha. So just as the Ganges is the greatest of all rivers, Achyuta, Lord Achyuta is the supreme among all deities, Lord Shambhu the greatest of Vaishnavas, so Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. न माने चैतन्य पथ बोलाया वैष्णवा शिवेरा अमान्य करे व्यर्थतार सभा. So here Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying the endeavors of one who does not follow the path of Lord Chaitanya and disrespects Shiva, it claims to be a Vaishnava, are all useless. So we have to follow the path of Lord Chaitanya means we have to worship, not worship, sorry. We have to respect Lord Shiva too. If we are not doing that, we can never become a Vaishnava. So those who disrespect Gunavatara Mahadeva do not actually follow Sri Chaitanya. That's what Prabhupada Saraswati is saying. Then Prabhupada Saraswati goes to say, Sri Ramanuja preached unalloyed Vaishnava Dharma 400 years before the advent of Sri Chaitanya. Those who synthesize matter and spirit try hard to equate the Gunavataras with Vasudeva Vishnu. But what is happening? Those who synthesize matter and spirit, this phrase is so beautiful. So this is the modern day scientists who want to synthesize both matter and spirit, but both are the Supreme Lord's energy. We can't synthesize anything, any of these things. So they are trying to do that, and they are also trying hard to equate the Gunavataras with Vasudeva Vishnu. So they're saying Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are equal. I've heard people say this, that there is one creator, one maintainer, one destroyer. So all three are same. So I've heard from my own ears such things. So this is an offense. So as a result, they commit offense at the feet of the Supreme Lord. To release such people from their offenses, so this Sri Lakshmana Deshika, who is also in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, an Acharya in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, he preached only devotional service to Vishnu, single-handedly. But still, veteran Vaishnavas like Ananda Tirtha, who belongs to Madhva Sampradaya, he worshipped the Gunavataras the right way. How? He worshipped Brahma and Shiva as devotees of Supreme Lord. So this is what we should be doing. Sri Krishna Chaitanya visited the temple of Shiva, the incarnation of a devotee, and prayed for devotional service to Krishna. So here, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who is an Acharya for us too, so he is showing us what we should do when we go to Lord Shiva's temple. But if Mahadeva, the best of devotees, is disrespected on the basis of unalloyed principles of Sri Ramanuja by those who are subservient to Sri Chaitanya, then because of exhibiting envy of a devotee, pure devotees headed by the author become angry at such envious people. So Prabhupada Saraswati is saying pure devotees, including him, headed by him, will become angry at people who are saying, I am following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but still I am disrespecting Mahadeva. So this is a big purport, but that is what was important. And then Prabhupada Saraswati goes further to glorify Lord Shiva. We'll finish off quickly, it's past 12. खरिते आउछेन नृत्य जगत जीवाना पर्वत विदरे हेना हुंकार गर्जना. The life and soul of the universe continuously danced and rolled so loudly it appeared as the mountains could be broken. So that loudly our Gauran Simha Gauran Nataraj is dancing now. Dekhi Shiva Dasa Saba Hailavi Smita Sabai Balena Shiva Hailavi Dita. When the servants of Shiva saw this, they were struck with wonder and they all said, Lord Shiva has appeared. And what did they do? Anande adhika sabe kare gita vadya prabhu ona chena tilar dheka nahi bhaya. They happily sang and played musical instrument with increased enthusiasm, and the Lord danced without the least external consciousness. So now the Lord is also mingling with his devotees and his dancing. तक्षणे भक्तगण आसिया मिलिया आसियाई मुकुंदादी गाइते लगीला. In a short time, the Lord's own devotees also came there. And Mukunda immediately began to sing. Now the Supreme Lord is dancing. What else is the job for Mukunda? He has to sing. प्रियगण देखी प्रभु अधिक आनंदे नाचित लागिला वेदी गाय भक्त वृंदे. When the Lord saw his dear associates, he began to dance with increased happiness, and the devotees sang around him. So with this, we end today's verses. I will quickly summarize the reasons why Nityananda Prabhu broke the Ekadanda. Because this is what Prabhupada Saraswati has asked us to understand. So first reason was we should not make the Lord our subservient. That was what Nityananda Prabhu tells the Danda. Don't get carried by the Lord and make him your servant. Make him your order carrier. In fact, servants should carry Tridanda. Then second, what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying is the qualities to accept Tridanda. That is Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam. And accepting Tridanda is what is fully approved even by Srimad Bhagavatam, which is literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord himself. And without becoming a Tridandi, no one can control himself. So this is regarding Vacho Vegam. Then third point is Tridanda has been accepted by the Pancharatrika Vidhi also. Then fourth, Prabhupada Saraswati says there is no actual difference between Tridandi Swamis and Paramahamsas. And the example he gives is Prabodhananda Saraswati and the 6 Goswamis. Both are accepted, But the recent pure devotional endeavors by followers of Rupa established the path of regulative principles. We understood why. Because that is to, because people are seeing, one, there are fake Paramahamsas, and second, people are seeing Paramahamsas, the actual Paramahamsas, very cheaply. So, regulative principles, accepting sannyasa and the regulative principle is being promoted by Nityananda Prabhu. And only Tridandis can even go to the stage of Paramahamsa. Then one more reason is Brajendra Nandan, Sri Krishna Chaitanya's position is established here. He is not any Dandera Dandi. Just because he's carrying a danda, he's a sannyasi, that is not the position of Krishna Chaitanya. And demigods also reside in the danda, and mundane consideration is to see even deities in the form, deity in the, as a stone. So to prevent one from future offense, our Nityananda Prabhu broke the danda. These are some reasons. So with this, I'm so sorry I took a little extra time. Please forgive me for all the offenses I made, all the mistakes I made. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Please correct my mistakes, Matajis, and please share your realizations. I'll stop.
Hare Krishna Chinmayi Mataji. Very, very beautiful session, Mataji. Very nicely you took of all of us, like I myself experienced, along with this journey with Mahaprabhu, how our Jagdananda Pandit, he handed over to Nityananda Prabhu, and Nityananda Prabhu took this opportunity to break his danda into three. And very nicely explained about the three dandi sannyasis and how the dandas in our ISKCON is also, they are actually the four dandas combined together, wrapped in one cloth. Looks like Ekadanda, but actually there are four dandas on it. Very wonderful session, Mataji. I just have one question, rather clarification needed. That now when Mahaprabhu started his journey and you said he went to Jaleshwar Mahadev, right? So it's in Bhubaneswar. So actually I want to ask, it's the same place where Mahaprabhu composed the Shivashtakam that Murari Gupta wrote in his Charitra?
I don't know, Mataji. Mataji, actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita calls this place Kapoteshwara or something, Mataji. I mean, I had those questions in my mind.
Because remember, Mahaprabhu composed this Shivashtakam.
He did
So I was confused whether it's this Jaleshwar Mahadev near Bhubaneswar. But again, I was thinking, because right now Murari Gupta is not assisting him. And Murari Gupta is writing in his Chaitanya Charitra that how Mahaprabhu composed this Shivashtakam. So anyways, I was thinking which place it is.
I can find out, Mataji. Here, purport of this, which I actually skipped, Prabhupada Saraswati says, the present day Jaleshwar village is situated north of Baleshwar, but the Dandabhangi Nadi is situated near Puri and the district of Katak is situated between the two. Since there is no mention of the Lord returning to Baleshwara district from the Puri district, one should consider in what particular place north of Jaleshwara the Lord's danda was broken. I really am. I actually didn't understand this, Mataji. That's why.
No worries. No worries, Mataji. Actually, what Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is saying that between Jaleshwar and Bhubaneswar, there is a place where Danda Bhangila pastime happened.
Okay.
It's, yeah. But anyways, thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the wonderful session. You always take and you always make us envision that pastime. Very beautiful.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Mataji, you would have done this so much better.
No, Mataji, don't say that. Don't
Apologize
say
for
that.
all the mistakes.
No. It's wonderful. Very nicely explained, Mataji.
Thank
Okay, dear devotees, anyone has any questions, please go ahead. Yes, I see Preeti Vilasni Mataji. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for a very involved class without breaking the flow. You just explained each and every verse, including the purports, which are so complicated in that complicated language. Thank you for breaking it down for us and doing such a wonderful job, Mataji. We are so grateful to you. This was a tough part, and also we gave too many verses to you, and somehow you managed. Thank you. I had two questions. The first one was, of course, the same question about Jaleshwar, this Jaleshwar thing, right? Because I wanted to know if it was between, if this Jaleshwar is a place on the way to Orissa, but the Dandabanga is a place that was between Jaleshwar and Odisha. Then how come? Because according to Chaitanya Bhagavat, first Dandabanga happens, then he goes to Jaleshwar, right? So how come the order is somewhat convoluted? Can you explain?
Mataji, Tadabanga also happens in Odisha. I have no idea, Mataji. Actually, I don't know. I don't visualize where Katak is or Bhubaneswar is. I don't understand this. I'll do some research, Mataji, on that. My bad. There were so many verses. I was focusing on the Tridanda part. I I didn't read these verses till late in the evening yesterday. My bad, Mataji. I'm very
But
sorry.
Sridhanga itself was very complex, so I understand. Yeah.
That you helped me a lot, Mataji. I was bugging you, calling you so many times. Um,
Mm.
I will.
Mataji, yeah, Kirtida Mataji knows like this geography.
Mataji, see, he started from that Chhatrabhoga
Okay.
and he took the boat. And there he reached Odisha. So Odisha again is a state.
Okay.
He has not reached Puri yet. He is still in Odisha because he took different route because of the disturbances that were there. And then on the way to Jagannath Puri, all these pastimes happened that this Danda Bhangila pastime happened, and then he went to Jaleshwar, and from Jaleshwar now I'm hoping that he'll end into Puri, Jagannath Puri, where he'll teach all the devotees about the pastime of Gopinath stealing that key from Madhavendra Puri.
So this Jaleshwar is also in Odisha only.
Yeah, it's an Orissa only, but yeah, it's like it's a big state. So they are crossing this area and now they will reach Puri.
Understood. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. That's helpful. So basically,
Yeah,
there is
because see,
nothing.
from the boat they reached Orissa, on the borders of Orissa.
They paid the toll, no, Mataji. That is to reach Orissa. They paid I mean, they didn't pay, but there was a toll collector.
There was a toll collector, right? So they have reached Orissa, but now they are on their way to Puri.
Okay. So what is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur saying? He's saying that Jaleshwar, this Dandabanga, everything is happening in the state of Odisha, is it?
Yes.
Okay, that's what he's also telling. Okay,
That's what he's
something.
also telling.
Thank you. And then in the last few verses, can you screen the purport? I had a question in the last 2-3 verses. I forgot now what it was.
1 second, Mataji. I don't know where it went. Yes.
It should be in a PDF, Mataji.
Which one, Mataji?
Yours was 240. Where did you stop?
248 I stopped.
Chance increased. Okay. Sing. Priya Ganadiki. Go up a little bit, Mataji. Sorry, I lost track suddenly.
No problem. You want a purport?
Yeah, I think this purport only in the beginning. One second. No, this part I understood. Then up. Sorry, Mataji, I am also taking a lot of time.
No, Mataji, no problem. This is that purport of
Ma'am, can you read this purport so we'll get a clear idea?
The present day Jaleshwar village is situated north of Baleshwar, but the Dandabanga Nadi is situated near Puri, and the district of Kathak is situated between the two. Since there is no mention of Lord returning to Baleshwar district from the Puri district, one should consider in what particular place north of Jaleshwar the Lord's Danda was broken. If the Lord's Danda was broken on the bank of the river Dandabhanga or Bhargi, then between that river and Puri, there must be another temple of Shiva known as Jaleshwar.
Yeah, same thing, right? So between Dandabhanga and Puri, there is in between it is Jaleshwar, but that Dandabhanga also comes in this Odisha state only.
So he's also agreeing the same, huh?
Yeah, same thing. Yes.
Okay, fine. And then Mataji, can you go up? I don't know, one other purport I had a question. I forgot now when we were discussing this. I should have written it down, sorry.
No problem, Mataji. This also I skipped a little. Prabhupada Saraswati saying, he just says about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and we don't understand him.
Yeah, I remember now. It was about your reasons that you gave for Danda to be broken. No, you said all the demigods reside in the Danda, so it has to be broken. I didn't understand why it has to be broken. It has to be preserved, right?
So that we don't do aparad. Something. I'll figure that out, Mataji. I took it from
Up.
Okay. Here.
Yeah, here it is.
According to spiritual consideration, one should respect the supremely pure Tridanda, which is a worshipable form of the three guna avataras. But since mundane consideration that the deity form of Vishnu itself is made of stone leads one to hell, Sri Nityananda Prabhu delivered all living entities from future offense.
That
So we
means
can't even see the deity form properly. We are thinking that is stone. That's how I understood this, Mataji. So my mundane eyes, I am not even seeing the deity properly. What will I see a Tridanda properly? It happened to me. I saw one Maharaja's Tridanda. I was very curious how it is. I mean, respect and such things didn't come to my mind. So that's why he broke it into three.
why should he break it then?
So that people don't commit any future offense in thinking that this is an ordinary danda. It is not an ordinary danda. It's a worshipable form of three guna avataras.
Then you should preserve the Danda, no? Why you should break it?
But people don't have that mentality to worship that danda and see that danda as the form of the three guna avataras. So he said, okay, forget it. They cannot respect any further. Let's break it.
Yeah, somehow I didn't get that logic in my mind.
He said nobody has that vision to see
So
that
basically
this
he's
danda is
telling
not an ordinary danda.
Mataji, that's why Mahaprabhu didn't carry danda after that, Mataji. But then Prabhupada Saraswati also says, right, now the recent, that also some purport Prabhupada Saraswati says, recent endeavors of pure devotees, we propagate Tridandas, that we propagate the regulative principle one, so that Paramahamsas are not mistaken. That Prabhupada Saraswati said some.
So basically, Nityananda Prabhu is telling you don't have to even carry the danda. You're like a Paramahamsa. Don't carry the danda, break it. Any of people won't respect you just because you have the danda, something
Yes.
like that.
Yes, because again and again, Prabhupada Saraswati says that you are Vrajendra Nandan. So, and people should not, one, lower your platform, and they should not think you are a sannyasi just because you are carrying a danda. Both things should.
Understood. Okay, sort of, yeah. So that's all. All the this you wrote down, Mataji, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the reasons why the danda was broken, or only from Chaitanya Bhagavat?
Only from here, Mataji. I wanted to even compare with Chaitanya Charitamrita, but I didn't.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, not much. It doesn't describes a lot about it because Vishwas Thakur has described in detail. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has not described
Not
in
just,
detail.
and he's not given too many reasons also, Mataji. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Mataji.
I'll stop sharing, Mataji.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, dear devotees, anyone else has any questions?
No questions, Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Hari Bol. All you Matajis teach us so much. We learned so much from the mothers. I also was kind of speculating or thinking that, the danda, when we see, we offer some kind of respect, not to that dand, but to the Guru Maharaj or the sannyas who is carrying like that. And then this kamasya ritaggyana prapadyante anya devata. So the Guru or the sannyasi is representative of Lord Sri Krishna. All right. So we are offering him not to the danda. Danda is all the demigods there. So prapadyante anya devata. Not to commit that offense. Maybe that's the reason he broke that dand like that. So that's what I was also thinking. But this was a really very detailed, nice explanation. Thank you, Mata. Very well.
Thank you, Prabhuji. All the best to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So much Prabhupada has explained. My little brain doesn't even understand many things.
But I like Nityananda Prabhu's reasoning that after all, it's a bamboo stick. It's okay, just break it.
Okay, dear devotees, anyone else has anything to add? Mataji, we have chat.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank
Hari
you.
Mataji is saying, Hari Krishna Mataji, very beautifully explained, wonderful. Neetu Mataji is saying, beautiful class. Vinita Gandharvika Mataji is saying, is a beautiful lecture by you. Yashomati Mataji is also explaining that you wonderfully explained this past time. Everyone is being so grateful. Amrita Radhika Mataji is saying, thank you for the beautiful session.
Thank you.
So thank you, Mataji. Thank you for this wonderful session. So we'll stop here. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining us in today's session. And thank you, Cinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji, for this wonderful nectarian session. We'll stop here. We'll offer our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhu vayevacha
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णवृंद की
नमः
जय श्री
जय
प्रभुपाद की जय वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय
जय
हरे कृष्ण चिन्मय व्रज प्रिया माता जी
जी
की
की
जय
जय हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडवत
Hare
प्रणाम
Krishna
so
Mataji.
grateful to you
Hare Krishna
very
Mataji.
beautiful
Thank
class
you.
Hare